All right,
This is great.
let's do this.
I feel good,
Five,
man.
4, 3,
3.
2, 1. Let Us Heads, we are here. We are back with another edition of Let Us Rank, everyone's favorite. Today we're
Let
going
us heads.
Let Us Heads. We're going a little negative, I would say. We're gonna maybe get some clicks out of that. The top 3 things we hate about golf. This is gonna be a tough one because outside of probably my kids, potentially my wife, I love golf more than anything. But just like anything, there's no such thing as unconditional love. There's room for improvement. We're going to get this thing started. We're going 3, 2, 1 in that order. We're going to kick it over to Mr. Golfberg himself. Aaron, the number 3 thing you hate about golf.
Okay, and you're right. It was hard to put together. I do love golf so much. But is the game too long? 18
Okay.
holes. We're talking 4.5
Seem
hours, 5
arbitrary.
hours often. We're talking you got to drive to the course.
6
You got to
hours if you're
warm
playing
up.
in a tournament in Georgia.
100%. And like course is 30, 40 minutes away. I'm over 40 years old now. I got to warm up. I need 20, 30 minutes. You want to putt a little bit, be reasonably organized with all your shit in the cart, etc. We're talking, and I'm saying I love being out there. Like I wish I could just be 6, 7 hours on the golf course, but practically speaking, is it just too long? Did the guy who invent golf literally just have nothing else going on in his life?
Yeah, they didn't have electricity. What else were they going to do?
You know what,
Yeah.
Aaron? I think when they first routed St. Andrews, I could be totally wrong. I think it was like 12 holes. I could be totally wrong. Please correct me.
12 is a cool number. I mean, that honestly, imagine if the game of golf was 12. I mean, we're talking 2.5 hours and happier wives all around.
Makes a lot more sense.
It's like that sprint too, like holding your shit together for 4.5 hours is pretty intense, but 2.5 hours, that's tangible. I've had really good 12-hole stretches before.
Man, maybe that makes the game too easy. That's,
that's there's a con to every pro.
I've had the opposite. I've had really bad 12-hole stretches. So I'm really glad we still have those last 6.
So yeah, maybe you should get in, but think about it. If 12 holes, 6 and after works, getting in an E6, just you never know.
Man.
Could fit right into the model.
Man.
All right, so right out of the gates, so the game is too long. Any closing thoughts on that, Mr. Golfberg, or do we want to move on?
No, I believe we covered it. Thank you.
Okay, Adam, your number 3. What you would change about the game, or not what you hate. So jumping topics. Your number 3 thing of what you hate about the game of golf.
Well, guys, I really hate its impact on the environment.
Okay.
Totally kidding, guys. Let's spray that fertilizer. Let's water those greens, baby. Let's green them up. So we're actually going with the handicap system. Okay, it's the worst.
So you're going with the handicaps after that one. Okay, okay. I like this. I did not have this one on my radar, but I need to unpack this. Let's go.
It's the worst. Like, I hate that you can't just play a straight up match with anyone, and nobody maintains like a true handicap. Okay, like you got folks that take sometimes 6 months off, and who knows what their handicap is. And then you got people that put in only their good scores, vanity handicaps. I just hate it. It's just off-putting.
Yeah, and just not to derail, I'm jotting down whatever these were. I literally typed out the environmental impact of golf and just had to delete it as you were going. The handicaps, no, I'm
had me, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty.
This guy's turning over a new leaf.
We should have known better. But I agree, the handicap system sucks also it's predicated on course ratings being,
which is a whole
accurate.
other can of worms.
Yeah, like they're not accurate. People will select the wrong tees and it greatly changes. I kind of don't know a lot about tennis, but I think their model is a little better. It's like more of a tiering system instead of being so literal that I'm a point whatever, I'm a 3.7, I'm a 12.6. You're just like, okay, you're like a 0, a tier 1, a tier 2. Flip side is having a handicap like number. Is kind of cool. Like when I'm a this, but it's extremely flawed, and its literalness in application is the problem. It's a Kentucky windage to me.
The problem is
What's
I don't
with
know
you?
what you do to fix it. I mean,
Hey,
there's some small things you could do, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't know what you. There's nothing that's gonna replace it.
Mhm.
sorry, I'm spitting ice off camera. Aaron, but what do you do? Aaron, you played basketball too. Like, we didn't roll up to the blacktop and be like, all right, he's 6'5", so I'm gonna start up 4-0 going to 11 this game. Or you just come and play the damn
But
game. You get
wait,
your ass beat, you get your ass beat.
yeah,
That's what I love about the
exactly.
other sports.
You're not playing against other people anyway. Tennis, you need it because like you're a level 5, you got to play some level 2,
5, yeah.
dickhead. Like that could suck. Golf, you're playing the course. I don't know why we need them
I guess
for
betting,
tournaments. Yeah, for betting, it's for right.
yeah, it's just the literal. Like I just had a run in weekend in a men's group, and it was a very well. I'm an 8, and you're a what? After we were playing an up tee, he was like, "You're an 8, and you're a +2, so that's 10 shots. So I'm gonna get." And it's like you start getting so literal, and I go, "Well, I don't want to
Yeah.
even play a game with you. What am I? I'm giving you a shot a hole. Like it's not even fun. How about we just enjoy? You go play the course, and I play the course, and then judge it based on that."
Just
It's dumb, but
judgment call at the end. You
man,
get $5.
man, guys, I got to give you kudos. You said you were coming in hot with little preparation. These were 2 heaters to start. I'm kind of curious if those were your 3s, where we go from there.
No kidding.
Adam, any closing thoughts on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay, no, just spray some Roundup on that one. All right, coming to yours truly. Charity scrambles. I'm so out on charity scrambles, specifically 4-man charity scrambles, strings, mulligans, red bombers.
Yeah.
I guess if anything, a red bomber, at least you're still hitting a golf shot. But I'm so far out on them. I don't think it's golf. It takes up prime time. It's usually like on a Friday afternoon when like real workers are trying to get out to the golf course and it's just booked for the charity scramble. I'd rather just like give the money than take up the time on the golf course. And guys take this shit serious. They're like amped up for the 4-man. And I'm like, come on, man. Like it is literally the dinkiest form of golf there is. And call me an elitist, but I'm out on charity scrambles.
It's
Thoughts?
joke golf, you know?
It's joke golf.
No,
Adam,
this kind of goes in the hand like with the handicap system for me. It's like there's so much weird stuff going on in these scrambles where you've got,
44s.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
net 44.
it's gotten ridiculous. You got guys shooting, sub 50, and it's like
Yeah.
there's nobody there to police it.
Yeah, my buddy and I just were in a fake scramble, and we were like 17 under. We cheated like this much because you're allowed to cheat a little with like a couple, like a mulligan,
Yeah.
one string. But
Yeah.
these guys were like 22 under, way worse. But they cheated so bad. They all
Yeah.
had birdie bags
Oh.
apparently, and it's like you can't compete with 4 guys who are going to buy $100 birdie bag.
And then how do you even legislate who bought the birdie bag, And then it's like it's all just bullshit.
Those were
All I
good
heard was
threes.
you are anti-charity.
Yeah, anti-charity. That's another topic, but I kind of am. So that's it. Rounds out our 3s. So those were kind of heaters for number
Absolutely.
3. So let's start it back. Kick it over to Mr. Golfberg for number 2 thing you hate most about golf.
So do we want to review those 3 again, or just jump right into the next level of the
Okay,
2?
well, yeah, Adam
We're
with
tier
the
2 now?
Aaron, the game is too long.
Game's too long.
Adam, the handicap system is broken, potentially
Rigged.
unfixable, rigged,
And the environment.
and the environment.
And shout out to the
Shout out to the
environment.
environment, pro or con. And I am out on charity scrambles. So let's
Right.
get into round 2, Mr. Golfberg.
All right, my middle tier complaint about what thing I hate about golf. Maybe because it scares me the most, but golf truly is a full body sport. Mine too, but like full body. Like you need your feet, you need your legs to be working properly, like your knees, you got to have a little flex, your hips got to be moving, your back, don't get me started on the back. I need my shoulders okay. I need my neck. I was thinking the other day, imagine having like a bad neck. Your golf career would be done, right? as an older guy who's starting to get injured all the time, it's just like a stressful sort of thing to me. And my back went out 2 days ago. I was
So,
going to golf Saturday, couldn't do it.
so like in summary, you're just saying like injuries,
Just
or
no, because imagine this: I could have been a fisherman. I could break my foot. I could go fish,
yeah,
right? I could have been a runner. I could break my hand. I could I could sprain my neck. I'd go run, right? Could have been like an antiques guy. I could have just like collected shit.
yeah,
But I chose the life of a golfer, and my full body
is
is
neat.
required to play at a high level, and
Yep.
that's a little stressful.
So it's
What's
high risk,
High risk.
high risk
High
hobby,
what's
high
interesting about
risk
golf
hobby.
is that it's like one of the few sports that you can play till like you're 80, but
Mhm.
also like you said, there's a million things that could go wrong. Back, wrist, neck,
Fingers.
knee.
What are you pointing
There's
to, Andrew?
He said
uh,
wrist, and
yeah.
Wrist.
you'll never know, but there's a lot of issues in this wrist.
Yeah, man.
That one was a little
So
heavy. That like hit close to home.
it's just the truth, yo.
If anyone's
Uh,
listening sub 30 and they're just rolling their eyes, I don't care who you are. You're not LeBron. The soft tissue game, you're going to sneeze wrong, wake up wrong, carry a kid for 5 years.
yeah.
It'll catch up.
hmm
All right. Adam, number 2 thing you hate most about golf.
Yeah, so this one's kind of a two-parter. It's the how exclusive it is, as well as the cost. We're talking about, man, inflation's out of control, right, guys?
hmm
We've got to buy $700 drivers now. The balls
hmm
cost what for a Pro V's $55 a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Preach.
Lessons, membership,
Gloves.
gloves.
Just throwing out other things with that.
StreamYard, Premiere Pro.
Oh,
It's
Mojo.
it's out of control. And also just how exclusive it is, man. I just hate that like the barrier to like entry to play like the really, really cool clubs is you've got to be multimillionaire.
Yeah, we're not
Sucks.
gonna. No, I get it. I'm gonna save some of my discourse because this is adjacent to a topic I have, believe it or not. But I will just ride with. Yeah, like there again, not a great answer to it, but it drives the wrong behaviors. Let's put it that way. And the outcome is not something that I love. But we have one member here who's he's lived a privileged adjacent life. He wears a hat that says "I'm too good of a putter for public golf."
Excuse me?
So I need to kick this over to Mr. Golfberg. I think he can thread the needle here.
Yeah, no, golf is too expensive, and the problem was the pandemic. 2019, like
Didn't
golf wasn't stressing me out that much. I remember there was this cool club in Michigan you could join, had to have access to 4 awesome courses. It was like $2,500 a year, and you play unlimited golf basically. I mean, it's like for someone who wants to play a ton, it wasn't that big of a deal. And then it like during the pandemic, it went up to like 7,500, and now it's like 12,000. And everywhere is like that. Courses out here that were like 15 grand to join are now 75 grand to join, literally. And that's from the pandemic anyway. So yeah, I feel you, man.
just
It was
for
already a
not
problem, and then it got a lot worse.
not doxing, but a big city in the PNW, $75,000 membership asked for a mid to high end level club. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
So then you're
100%.
getting like not even the golfers. It just becomes a circle. Well, I can't go into that. That is a
Right.
teaser
I actually
for
have.
a-
It's going into one of my points so I'm going to hold back a
Wow,
little bit too.
look at
Mhm.
us, guys. Well,
Mhm.
this might be a good way to ruin this one. Now, yeah, I think that'll be cool.
Exclusivity though is another thing,
From cost. Okay, yeah, that's fair. So, Adam, you're locking in exclusivity and cost. It sounds like we're going to hit on these topics again, so let's keep rolling. Oh, that goes over to me. Okay. Funny how that works.
Over to you, Goldie.
He's checking the
So
notes.
I'm going to go again.
He's up.
I'm going club throwers. I mean
Oh.
this. in a silly way and a serious way. I can't.
Wow.
I try to put one on the list out of everything I've done in my golf life. What is the one thing that has bothered me more than anything? Like, you could pick on a few things that happen on a golf course, but the psycho petty little mommy's boy, can't handle adversity, club tossing, club breaking, asshole, piece of shit,
Mm.
get off my golf course. None of us are that good. We haven't earned the right to throw a club. I mean that for every golfer I've ever played with. But most of them, you do get the occasional like 21-year-old college player who's just stressed out. And I try to give them a little bit of breathing room until life has kicked them in the nuts. But the I mean, you see grown ass men doing it. I see you're breaking tee markers, snapping drivers, throwing clubs. I'm like, dude, you showed up 7 minutes before tee time. What'd you think was going to happen? Like, that's the part I just will never understand. And a lot of times there are good players, but you get like the 12 handicap. I'm like, dude, what are you mad? You're not going to shoot 84 now. You're going to shoot 87. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's just so.
I will say
I'm out
though, I will say, if you can't hit a 4-iron and it just happens to land in Crystal Lake, that's a different story. We're not talking about those guys.
You were a younger man, and in your defense, you were not trying to.
I feel seen.
You were not trying to release the club. The club released from you, and it's at the bottom of Crystal Lake now. So,
yeah, almost any negativity and aggression is very off-putting on the golf course. Just so unnecessary.
It's selfish. It takes everyone else down.
See,
But you know what?
you sulk a little bit. You can sulk a little bit, but yeah, you got to keep it to yourself. I think the last time I threw a club, I was probably 16. I mean, I can see you're a kid, you don't know what's going on yet, but
right. And it kind of makes it seem like the club is the problem. You know what I mean? Too, like, that's why hate yourself. I love that. Like, talk so bad about yourself. Get really deep. Like, get to where you need help. But it ain't the club's fault. I mean, we know that.
But I love it when the pros do it because they're good enough.
At times, I guess they've earned the right to be mad. I'm good with that, but still, sometimes it's just I'd rather that. I guess I'd rather that than the robots who don't show any emotion. But yeah, we're leaving this to a non-professional take. I just can't stand it. So, all right. So that rounds out the second round. So the second round, Aaron, you came in at this is a high risk hobby. These injuries are scary proposition. Need the full body. Adam, exclusivity and cost, and I came in at the club throwing babies. So, without further ado, we are going on to our number one thing we hate about golf, Mr. Golfberg. We all going deep on this one? No silliness on this one?
No, it makes so much sense that I would say this. It really is the number one thing I absolutely cannot stand about golf, that I am most passionate about. Shitty greens. It's an abomination. It's nuts that it even happens, as a matter of fact, and that it can be written off as a thing that can just happen. Like, look at the dumb handicap system we were talking about and how you're supposed to score. It's literally half of the game of golf happens on the green. And when you have shitty greens, not only does putting get totally screwed up, chipping gets totally screwed up, hitting wedge shots get screwed up. I mean, it's not real golf when you have bumpy greens. Slowness we can talk about, I get it, but if you have bumpy, just shitty, unmaintained greens are not your priority, you shouldn't be running a golf course.
Yep.
And they're still trying to charge $75 to play.
That's what I was about to say. And tying this to cost,
right?
Yeah, we're still going to charge you the full amount. No, we're
half off. Fine.
And let's go, guys. Let's just pay homage to all the buzzwords. It was a lot of rain this winter. It was the coldest winter we had. That POA came in and we just couldn't see it. And we had a drought, and it's like
not enough rain.
Yeah, not enough rain. It's like, you mean it's outside? Like it's like, look,
I have we're gonna flash a picture up here of a course I just played. I mean, mind blowing. It's a joke what can happen out there, and And when you make up shots around the greens, it's even worse.
Yeah, that picture we'll have to. This will get flagged NSFW for that picture if it's the one I'm
Yeah, it's
thinking
bad.
of. But yeah, I'm fortunate where I'm at. I have a local family-owned operator golf course, and his mission is to ensure a quality green surface, and he does it for 12 months a year
Unreal.
on a very tight, non-big budget, big corporation back, budget. Um, Excellent putting surfaces, but it just
Got that.
frustrates the shit out of me where you go to these places that have, I'm not going to say unlimited budgets, but large budgets, and it's just always an excuse. And I'm like, dude, if he can do it in the region we're at on red clay with our super psychotic climate, pretty gnarly too, there's no excuse that anybody can't do it. And it's just a plan and doing it daily, and it goes back to laziness.
How can I sum it all up? I don't know.
Well, you are a really good putter. Some would
Mhm.
call you a great putter, potentially a top 2 putter in the Please Let Us Golf pantheon. And it is frustrating though. Like it's not necessarily a speed thing. Obviously, we like fast greens and understand
Right.
why you can't have them lightning everywhere. But just bumpy, poor condition, it does like the game is getting the ball in the hole, and you just eliminate the games. Here's another golf take. The game's been de-skilled enough as is. Like technology, whether you're pro or against, we do hit it further. There's more forgiveness. So these little things like getting the ball in the hole, that's not an area where we need to continue to de-skill. I know you could argue, well, they were 60 years ago, they were using hand cutters and it was this and that, but it's not. I'm talking about in the competitive modern landscape, like short game prowess, being able to control the ball on and around the greens is a massive separator. We play with
It's the whole
21-year-olds
thing.
hitting it 50 yards past you. It's like, yeah, like throw a bone to the guys that can still get the ball in the hole.
Damn right.
Can I
Preach,
go?
man.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Hell yeah.
My number one, golf is too easy.
Oh, what a professional segue. Proud of you. Okay, golf is too easy.
Golf is too easy. There's too many non-athletes that are, the equipment's out of control. The driver head is massive. Like less athletic people than me being better at golf just rubs me the wrong way. As a former D1 athlete,
Hell
like
yeah.
you've got
Hell
these
yeah, brother.
non-coordinated people that have never touched a basketball, never touched a baseball, and they're scratch golfers. It's too easy.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot to unpack there. It's like we could do 6 hours on that topic.
So what are we saying? It's too easy to be a 10 handicap?
No, even better than that.
It's not too easy to be scratched. That's bullshit. I'll call you on that.
I would say it's getting to the point.
Or are
where
there too many scratch golfers? Are there?
Man.
Maybe there are.
There are.
Well, it's honestly the driver head. Like playing high school golf, I remember playing my junior year without a driver because you just didn't want to hit a driver playing the residential nightmare golf. But now it's like you got a tight hole, no pun intended.
Well,
You prefer to have a driver in your hand.
I guess what I was
You gotta
getting
tell you,
at.
hole, you gotta plug
I
it.
guess what I was getting at with the scratch golfer is if you have the means, if you have the money, I feel like just about anyone can become a scratch golfer.
Yeah, I love it. We need
That's
it, but
crazy.
that's a nuclear take. I would say.
Because there are so many rich people who suck at golf, so they're just not trying hard enough.
Well, they don't.
They got all the crap. They're at the club. They get some lessons.
Their
They
daddy
play
can't hand them
constantly,
out
and
their
they
handicap.
suck.
But I stand by my take.
So you stand by golf is generally too easy, and you think
it's
it's
just-
technology driven?
I think yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it's technology driven, but yeah, it bugs me that like being an athlete doesn't necessarily correlate to like good golf.
The only counter I would have to that is
What?
one of the cool parts of golf is that you can't be a prototype in history of golf. You can't just be LeBron and you're like, oh, I'm going to be in the NBA. That's
right.
not. I mean, not a shot at LeBron. You know what I mean? It is a skill based sport as opposed to a raw how high can you jump, how tall are you, how much can you bench, how fast you are. Now, clearly, better athletes have migrated to golf, and they are better at the sport than the Joe Blow from 30 years ago.
Mhm.
But I still think that is a beauty of the game, even though we're talking about what we hate. It's the barrier of entry. Anybody can be a great golfer, and the skill can be rewarded. Whereas you can have all the skills in basketball, but you're 5'10" white guys. You're capped at what level you're going to get to.
Do we know a bunch of scratch golfers who are just these unathletic little weirdos? Who
I
are we
don't.
talking about? I don't know enough of these guys.
I don't know scratch golfers. Honestly, I kind of had a different take. I get what Adam's saying, but I also feel like because of technology, it's made some athletes that are not good golfers shoot low scores. I'm not going to dox two that come to mind that I play with sometimes that are just like athletic dudes, and they have C minus swings and B minus short games, and nobody can hit a 90-yard wedge, but they can hit the ball 310 yards and pretty decent with a driver. So they play a golf course sub 6,800 yards, and one out of every 3 rounds they shoot a 74 and maintain a 3 or 4 handicap. And you're like, but you're not like good at golf.
Yeah, I can tell Aaron is a little triggered.
I don't feel triggered. It's just, it's an interesting thought. But
all these
personally,
nerds
had to
walking around shooting 68s.
I had to work really hard to get from like that 4 handicap territory to scratch when I did it. Like it took insane practice, truly. And it was the first time in my life I ever really practiced. And it was all the time at the range, like baking in these shots. I don't know. So it
No.
didn't feel like a given.
You're definitely not who I'm talking about. So you're an
sorry.
Then fuck it.
I mean, you're an athlete, but like it's just the folks that like literally the only thing they do is play golf. They've had lessons since they were 4. And if they picked up any other sport, they would be like awful, terrible.
Let's kick over to the final number one thing I hate about golf. It is the American private golf model. So I can't say I hate private golf because there's the majority of the best golf courses in America happen to be private. When you go to a private club that's like elite, you leave and you're like, oh my gosh, I should be a member here. But it is
Do you like going to a nice restaurant that's not like overcrowded and you get really good service and the food's amazing? Do you like that?
I do like it.
Okay.
I would say the difference is like if you want to splurge, you can go to that restaurant. The problem with the American model is all the greatest courses in the world have one common factor. Anybody can play them. They are publicly accessible or public golf courses. Now, I get it. There's a handful of people that might come chirping that go, oh, well, but if you live in Scotland, you don't get to play all these. There's technicalities I get country to country. But for the most part, if you go to the top 100 courses in America and 70 of them are private, 65 of them are so exclusive, you're just never, 99% of people are going to play. It's the opposite when you look at the world models. And it's very frustrating because we've talked silly, but Sappy, like I love this game. It's the best properties. It's the best experience. It's the history. And we put it behind the paywall. We go, it's not the people that really, not saying there's not people that don't love the game at those memberships, but it comes a C-suite. It's a circle jerk of access, and you get a club membership to access the other club that the other club won't let, it's just self-fulfilling prophecy of elitism that is going to basically be the stink on the game in perpetuity, at least in America. It sounds petty because if you're getting invites to Shinnecock and Marion, but still I would like to think I'm objective enough to go, but this model at scale just sucks, right? On the flip side, you last thing, and I'll open for comments. You have like an old Barnwell that opened up and has a really cool mission and a lot, even though they're private, a lot of public accessibility. And then on the inverse, you have like the state of Florida, which is let me just build another $250,000 membership. I get it. It's near the beach, the real estate. You have to do it. The model wouldn't work. Well, maybe those golf courses just shouldn't exist. And then meanwhile, you can go to the Abandon or a Sand Valley, or you can, get on the old Barnwell. It's like these experiences are amazing. And it just sucks that America goes out of their way to make sure the majority of people can't get to the top tier.
No course should be fully private. Like, give me some sort of avenue to play your course. Like, I don't care if it's a lottery or whatever, but
May I just, what about the whole, like, just the idea that this is America, it's just capitalism, people are running businesses, they buy land, I want to build a golf course, I want to do a private membership. I only need 200 members here to run operations and it'll be sick.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get, what right does anyone have to get in the way of that? By the way, I'm not a member to a place like that. Would I want to be? Yeah.
yeah, it's
Is
cool
it
if you're a
bad?
member.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, but like, how do you can't stop that from happening. I was just,
Well, I think there's a delineation, probably A, it's a gray area, and B, between like a private members course versus these historical national memberships in which are just designed for extreme exclusivity. No, it's not perfect, and it's not like the world doesn't have exclusive private clubs. A lot of these courses in other countries, that's the trick, is they're owned as public lands. They're historic landmarks or public
like
lands.
Chambers Bay.
Yeah, that's a municipal, right? So,
Mhm.
I don't think America's ever going to make Marion a government-owned land in our lifetime. But yeah, I don't know the answer. Maybe the answer is just, I hate that like USGA funnels money to these places and doesn't mandate. Like, it would be cool to me if, like, okay, you're going to host the US Open, the year in which you're hosting it, it's going to be a public golf course. The 3 months leading up to the tournament, then a month off before, and then the 3 months after the tournament. That's like the price to play. Because, by the way, people don't realize how much money is being funneled to those clubs once they accept I'm going to host the US Open in 2032. So maybe that would be a way of getting at some of the historical courses. I just go to, you're right, American exceptionalism, American capitalism. I'm not against it, but
No, it's just how things work.
yeah, but it's deeply unfortunate is all I would say.
Why is it that, around Seattle, these public golf courses are so average? And there's a couple little gems, but like they're gems because you're like, thank God, at least like the routing makes sense and they're kind of taking care of these greens. But the country clubs are all really sick.
Yeah, I mean,
So like what's going now, to me, it would seem like that's a business model thing. It's just because they need more money
yeah.
to run these things and they can make a ton more money on memberships. And that's how you get a nice course. And if you can't make that kind of money, you cannot have a super nice course. But I know that's not the rule all the time. It's just, I don't know.
And
No.
this affects the environment as well.
It does. No, but I think if this isn't a golf business pod, but listen to enough, I think that's the counter is, especially in major metropolitan areas or high land value areas, you're just not going to be able to build a publicly accessible golf course from scratch now. It's like the private model just makes too much sense from a financial risk aversion and just the expectation. Like, people expect perfection, tee to green and facilities, and you need so much seed money up front that unless somebody's willing to just lose $50 million, it's not going to happen. Or it has to be a part of a larger project like a resort, like Abandon, where you can amortize costs over a couple decades and assume that risk. But I mean, I don't know. It's just still, this kind of goes back to exclusivity and costs. And I don't want to talk about both sides of my mouth. I love a private golf experience. If I, can't say I wouldn't do it myself. I just mean corporately, the fact that it is so, I mean, when you hear the thing, even when you're like, you hear about 3-year wait lists and you're like, who are these? How? I don't get it. So it does seem to be like a boys club for a boys club, because most of those wait lists are filled up with people that are like members at other equivalent type of clubs.
because you want people on the course who respect the game as well, right?
Well,
Take care
St.
of it.
Andrews technically does that. I don't know if you're aware of that, but when you get an old course tee time, you have to have an established handicap of, I think if you're a male, I mean, it's nothing. You have to have like a 22 or 23 handicap, or you
Wow.
can't get the tee time. Kind of arbitrary, but I'm kind of down with a means test. Let's get some of the riffraff out of there. We don't.
Yeah, because the handicap system is so trustworthy.
Well, yeah, you have qualifiers.
Actually, go visit our TikTok page. I just posted something related to that.
Yeah, there you go.
Sandbagging.
All right, guys. So little bit of a somber one to end on, but let's do a quick recap. So Aaron started with the game is too long.
Too long.
Then he went into the high risk hobby. These injury
Whole
risk,
body's required.
the
Or
whole
should I
body.
keep cutting you off?
No,
do you want me
keep-
to keep? Do you want me to keep
No, it's-
cutting you off?
An echo effect. In shitty greens, we ain't down with that. Adam, handicap system, it is a joke. It is rigged. It's got to go. Exclusivity and costs. It's just we want access and we want it to be cheaper. And then golf's just too easy. These non-athletes that are walking around as scratch golfers in volume that Adam knows. He just has issues with how easy the game has become for some people. And then we went hard at charities. We did not like the charity scrambles. We hate the piss baby club throwers. And then a little bit of a deep dive in the American private golf model. So that being said, guys, that's another edition of Let Us Rank. That ran a little longer than I thought, but these were passionate topics. So until next time, stay plugged.
Comment, like, subscribe.
That's Adam's calls.